Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ravens flock. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, hope everybody enjoyed the bye week for the Ravens. It was an enjoyable one. Had our team take a step back, assess some of the issues we've been dealing with in the first half of the season, rest up, get some of our guys healthy, and get ready for this second half blitz that we're going to see for the rest of the season. It was also a great bye week because somehow we ended up back in first place in the AFC North, so that was great for us. But obviously, it's time to move on, move forward, and we got our next opponent up, and it happens to be the other purple team in the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings. So this should be an interesting matchup. They are coming down to M&T Bank Stadium to take on the Ravens. Should be fun. It's going to be rocking in Baltimore. Can't wait to see how this game's going to go down. Hopefully we come out with a W, but we'll see what happens. So, it's been interesting with the Ravens this season, you know. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but mostly good things, especially on the offensive side. Defensively, it's been a struggle, but coming out of the bye week, I'm hopeful some of the issues we saw will be fixed. I hope it was addressed. I hope they've worked on them, and hopefully we will not see these issues moving forward. So, with a game like this coming up against the Vikings, what do the Ravens need to do to get the job done and pull off a W at home? Well, let's start with the offense because that's the easier of the two. Offensively, number one thing we got to do, make sure we can run the ball, man. You know, the Vikings run defense isn't the best in the league. It's actually pretty solid, but we should be able to get something going in the run game. Now, they've done a great job in stopping, you know, the run game in terms of other backs, but when you play the Ravens, it's a bit different because you know you got to focus on the backs, but if you give Lamar any chance, he's going to take that opportunity and he's going to shred your defense. So we know the Vikings are going to be on alert for Lamar, and we got to be able to take advantage of that for the most part. If we can establish a run game, this game will be ours, because whenever we can establish a run game, we've got something going. Excuse me. So if we can establish the run game, it should be nice. However, I do not know how this is going to go because it does not look like Latavius Murray will be playing in this game. He did not practice. So we'll see how that goes for the most part. Don't think he will. But I guess we'll have to rely on both Le'Veon and Devontae to carry the load. And we'll just see how that goes moving forward. So if we can establish some level of a consistent running game here, we should be fine. And we'll see how that goes. Next up in the passing game. Like I said, they're going to be putting a lot of focus and emphasis on Lamar Jackson. And because of that, that should be able to free up the pass game. Now, a positive was that Sammy Watkins did practice this week. So there's a great chance he might be able to play on Sunday. And if that's the case, you will be able to have Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, and Sammy Watkins. Lamar seems to have a connection and chemistry with all four of these guys. So now, it's time to pick your poison. In previous years, you could just double team Mark Andrews, single coverage Hollywood Brown on the outside, and now you're going to put Lamar in a situation where he has to find somebody else, and it was tough because no one else was getting open. That made it difficult. Now you've got four guys Lamar trusts in throwing the ball to. It's not going to be easy, so I expect this receiving core to be able to get the job done. Now, it's not going to be easy because the Vikings' pass defense this year is actually pretty good. They've done a great job of limiting the big plays, and they're not going to be an easy opponent to deal with. So that defense is going to be tough. Now, of course, everyone remembers what happened on Sunday Night Football, and we saw what the Cowboys were able to do down the stretch. And yeah, that didn't look great on them because Cooper Rush was able to be effective on that defense. But overall, on the season, they have performed well. So our receivers need to be in gear, they need to be ready, and they got to get going. It's not going to be an easy game. We need big plays from them. I'm expecting to see more of Rashad Bateman. I'm expecting to see Hollywood do his thing, Mark Andrews getting the ball, and if Sammy Watkins does indeed play in this game, he's going to get some looks himself. So it should be interesting, but I do expect the receiving core to play a big role in this game this week, so we'll see what happens with that, and hopefully they can come up with a lot of explosive plays because that's what we've been doing with this passing game this season. Last thing we got to do for the most part is protect Lamar Jackson. That's been a big issue that I've been seeing with the offensive line. Lamar's been getting sacked a lot, mostly on third down, which has played a big role as to why we are one of the poorest teams on third down conversions this season. So we got to get that together. Lamar cannot keep taking all these sacks, man. So we need some better protection. Now, some of them are on Lamar. It's always going to be like that for a quarterback, especially when you're mobile and trying to make a play. But a good chunk of the times he's getting sacked, it's because of the lack of protection, or the offensive line isn't holding up enough. Not to mention, there are just times where they're just not blocking well as a unit. So hopefully that will improve, and we will see a better offensive line, because we spent the bye week hopefully getting some of our guys back, trying some other dudes in the position, just trying to get some depth at the offensive line. And hopefully this will work out. Coming out of the bye week, they'll have more chemistry, they'll be more prepared, they'll be healthier, and they'll be able to block and protect Lamar Jackson, because he can't keep taking all these sacks. He can't, especially not on third down. If you're going to be able to make plays down the stretch in key games and in key moments, third down is the most important down in the game. And we have done a poor job throughout the first half of the season. We have not done well on third down. So we have got to get that together, and it all starts with protecting Lamar Jackson and giving him an opportunity to look downfield and get the ball to somebody. So 3 things: establish the run, get our receiving core the ball for the most part, get them going, get them hyped, get them ready to go, and have them engage and test out that Vikings secondary. And third, but most importantly, protect Lamar Jackson, because if we can protect Lamar Jackson, we'll also be able to protect the ball, because a lot of our turnovers do happen when Lamar is taking a lot of heat and he's getting hit because he is not holding on to the ball. That's another thing. He's got to protect the football. That's something he knows. We don't really need to discuss that. He knows himself. He has to protect the ball better, and hopefully he will do that down the stretch. But most importantly, protect Lamar Jackson. If we can't protect him, you can't make any plays. So it's simple as that. O-line, protect Lamar, test out the secondary, get this run game going. Simple as that. Well, I mean, it's simple as that in terms of talk and game plan. Execution is a different situation. We'll see how they look coming out of the bye week. Moving on to the defense. This is where things get tough. The defense so far this season has not done a great job in terms of tackling. They've been one of the poorest tackling teams in the league. That game against Cincinnati needs to be a wake-up call for them, because this poor tackling cannot happen moving forward. Jamar Chase was able to do whatever he wanted to do to our secondary in the second half of that game. Humphrey played arguably the worst game of his career. We can't have that moving forward. We need our players to step up, but most importantly, we need this unit as a whole to tackle better. That has been the main issue. Humphrey hasn't played his best. There's some players on the defense that haven't played their best. It is what it is. We know what they're made of. We know what they're capable of. They will get back to that level. They'll be fine. But the most important thing that needs to be addressed is a poor tackling. That has been the issue the entire season. Since week 1, this has been a problem. This had better been fixed. I'm serious, guys. Like, I hope they spent the bye week focusing on fixing the tackling and improving the tackling, because the Vikings have weapons on this offense. Now, Dalvin Cook is going to be an issue, obviously, so we got to look to stop the run. But those 2 weapons that they have on the offense, in Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, those are dangerous guys. And if we can't make the tackle and we can't cover them, it could be a long day for Baltimore. So it comes down to that. The most important thing we have to do in this game is tackle. It's the basic thing you do in football as a defender, but it's the most important thing you do in football as a defender. So we need them to be able to tackle. Get these guys down. You cannot continue to give up a lot of yards after catch. Get them down quick. Get them down efficiently. Force Kirk Cousins to have to beat you through the air on 3rd and long situations. Get them down. Do not give up big plays on screens. Do not give up long touchdowns on slant passes. Don't do that. Get them down quickly. That's the number 1 thing. Number 2 has to deal with covering these receivers. Again, we mentioned Humphrey. He hasn't played his best football, and we know what he's capable of because he's an all-pro corner. So I expect him, coming out of the bye, to put up one of his best performances of the season. I expect him to go out there and play like an all-pro corner. I expect the secondary to bounce back from the poor game they had against the Bengals. I need to see better execution from this team. At times, they kind of looked like they were just confused and there was some miscommunication because there were just some dudes wide open. So I need to see this defense as a unit execute better down the stretch. So number 1 thing, tackle. Number 2, cover these receivers. Do not let Jefferson get behind you. Do not give any opportunities to Thielen. Number 3, slow down Cook as much as possible. Do not let them get the run game going. And last but not least, put the pressure on Kirk Cousins. The funny thing about it is Kirk Cousins' numbers actually look really good this season, despite the fact that if you looked at how the Vikings have played and how the Vikings offense has looked, you would understand why he's not in the MVP conversation. Because look, the man's completing 69% of his passes, 14 passing touchdowns, 2 picks, a passer rating of 103. That would get you some votes in the MVP conversation, or at least some consideration. But because the Vikings offense for much of this season has been anemic, and Kirk Cousins in plenty of moments this season has looked bad, and the offense has looked completely ineffective, it's not going to matter how his numbers look. The offense is an issue for the Vikings. So knowing this team's having this issue, knowing they're struggling to put up points, knowing they're struggling to get something going, let's not be the defense that helps them get their offense going. Let's not be that defense. Tackle, get them down, cover their main threat receivers. Do not let Cook go off, and put the pressure on Kirk Cousins. Force him to make some mistakes. Force him to cough up the football, and let's take advantage of that. Simple as that. This should be a very, very, very interesting game. And of course, we understand we are on a short week after this, because after this game, we will play Thursday Night Football against the Dolphins. Now, another thing involving another player, we know Boyle is back, so that's great. However, I do not think he's going to play in either of the next 2 games, because you have this upcoming game against the Vikings, and then you have a short week with Miami. I don't think it's just realistic, unless he's so well and so fully back into the flow of the offense and into the flow of the game, to the point where they feel they can just throw him in immediately. That's fine. If the Ravens feel he's ready to go, throw him in. If he's 100%, throw him in. But I think the Ravens are going to be cautious with this one, and they're probably going to wait until the Bears game. So I don't think he's going to play against the Vikings. I don't think he's going to play that Thursday Night Football game. They'll probably wait until the next Sunday, where they will, when they face off against the Bears, that's when we'll see Boyle play. I think that would be the right time to put Boyle in. Now, again, that's just me saying it. If he is 100%, he's looking great in practice, he looks ready to go, and they feel he's ready, throw him in. I have no problem with that. That will be another weapon. Not to mention, adding Boyle will definitely, dramatically help improve our blocking. No question. No question. Not to mention, that's another weapon Lamar can use with his tight ends. And not to mention, we get Boyle back, we can start utilizing 3 tight end sets again, which will be great. You get Andrews, Boyle, and Oliver. That will be great. But, I think they're going to hold on them. They're going to hold back for a second on Boyle until they feel he's 100%. So I'm looking towards the Bears game for him to come back. But that's looking towards the future, focusing on the Vikings. Offense, you know what you got to do, man. Establish the run. Test the secondary of the Vikings with your receivers. Protect Lamar Jackson. Don't turn the ball over. Defense, tackle, 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 tackle. Cover these receivers. Don't give up any big plays over the top. Stop the run. Don't let Dalvin Cook go off. And put the pressure on Kirk Cousins and make sure he can cough up the ball and he doesn't come up with any explosive plays downfield. Simple as that. If we can pull that off, we will be getting the victory at home. So we'll see what happens. With that being said, predictions for the game, I think the Ravens will get the win. This is a team that always does well coming off of the bye week. So, especially under John Harbaugh, I believe they're 10-3 coming out of the bye week. So they're always coming out refreshed and prepared for the first opponent they see. I believe that will be the case here. Lamar will be completely refreshed. Our offense will be completely refreshed, getting their rest time to get healthy, getting guys back into the flow of the offense. It'll be great. So I think this is an opportunity to see this Ravens team try and take another step into what they really want to be this season. And we'll see if they can pull it off. Should be interesting, though. I got the Ravens winning 30-17. We'll see what happens with that. A couple touchdown passes for Lamar. Maybe we can get a touchdown rush from somebody. Seeing Hollywood get involved. Maybe Mark Andrews gets involved. Hopefully Bateman can get his first touchdown of the season here. Sammy Watkins, if he plays, he's going to get involved. Going to have a big game as well. And we'll just see what happens with that situation. Defensively, I think they're going to be able to slow down these receivers here. They're going to be able to handle Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. They're going to put the pressure on Kirk Cousins and force him to make some mistakes, which should give extra opportunities for our offense to be able to take advantage of. And we'll see what happens with that. All right, with that being said, we will see what happens on Sunday. It's been a while since I've talked about the Ravens involving previews, so Hopefully we'll get a win. Can't wait to see how that game goes down. Please don't let that game be a disappointment. I can't take it, man. Don't let that game be a disappointment. But with that being said, that is all I got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace. Go Ravens.